What's up, y'all? Chris Abbott here, but all my friends just call me Abbo. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to grow a church plant. And I'm telling you, this is the only video that you need to watch. I have had the honor of actually being a part of 4 different church plants, and I've learned a ton of different strategies and techniques that can help you get the word out, right? Especially if you still feel like you're the best kept secret in town. I think this video is going to help you. So let's dive in and talk about some strategies on how you can grow a church plant. Now, the first thing that you want to do is something that I call fill the fridge. This is great specifically if you're trying to reach young families. All you do is go to your local elementary school, right? Go to the principal, introduce yourself, and let them know that you are pastoring a brand new church in town and that you love teachers and everything that teachers do for the community and for all the families around. And so just say, hey, just to honor your teachers, what I would love to do is once a month, I'd love to come into the teacher's lounge and I'd love to fill the fridge, right? I just want to come in and fill the fridge with all of their favorite snacks and drinks, right? Just to appreciate them and just to kind of show them a tangible way of how much we love and appreciate the job that they're doing. Right now, every single principal is going to say yes to this, right? Because who doesn't want all of their teachers to have a bunch of like free snacks and drinks and that kind of stuff? And the cool thing is, it actually doesn't cost that much to do this, right? So you go out and you go pick up some 12 packs of soda and maybe some Starbucks drinks or some waters, right? You can go get like Little Debbie snacks, that kind of stuff. I mean, you could probably do the whole thing for about $50 a month if you go to Costco. Then once a month, you go in, you fill the fridge, leave a bunch of snacks and drinks, and then just make sure to leave a note on the fridge that says something along the lines of, hey, y'all, we filled the fridge. We sure do appreciate the job that you do and how hard you work, and we believe that you need a break. So have a drink and a snack on us. We're praying for you guys. Love, Pastor Chris. And then just rinse and repeat every single month. What's going to happen is you're going to start to generate a little bit of a buzz inside of that school from the teachers, the administrators, right, and the staff, and they're going to start to love you and check out your church. Not only will they be curious to come check out your church, but teachers talk to parents, right? And what better way to reach the parents of young elementary school age kids than by getting in with the teachers who start talking to the parents, right? This really cool way that your church has been caring for them. Next up is the Monday morning selfie video. This is one of my personal favorite ways of following up with guests, right? So all you do is take all of your Connect cards from Sunday, and on Monday morning, you just want to shoot a simple video on your smartphone, and you want to text it to every single visitor that came in the day before. Right now, some churches, if you don't want to give away your personal phone number, totally understand, but most cell phone companies run some type of special where you can get an iPhone or a smartphone for free whenever you add a new line to your plan, and it's usually like $10, right? So just get a second cell phone, use that specifically just for texting and sending these videos, right? And just make sure that you're sending a selfie video to every single person the day after they visit, right? So imagine how cool it would be if you went to a church for the very first time, right? You're unsure of yourself. Maybe you haven't been to church in a long time. You don't know what this church is about. Imagine how you would feel if you got a video the very next day, right? Texted to you personally from the pastor where he just says like, hey, John, what's up? Pastor Chris here. Hey, I just wanted to reach out and man, just say thanks so much for coming to church yesterday. Man, sure did enjoy getting to know you and your family. Man, I love you guys. Hope you guys had a great time. I hope you got something out of the message. I tell you what, we're actually doing it again next Sunday, same time, 10 o'clock. Can you make it? Right? Not only would you feel really, really good about yourself and think really highly of that pastor, but there's a good chance you'd probably go back the following Sunday. And that's why I'm a huge fan of this strategy. Really, really cool. Only takes 30 to 60 seconds per visitor, but it has the potential to double and even triple your visitor retention and get people back in the door. We all know the only thing better than a first-time visitor is a second-time visitor. Next up is Google Ads. Now, this is the easiest way to get on page 1 of Google because there's over 1 million searches every single month for people looking for a church, right? So people are literally looking for your church, but if your website is hidden somewhere on page 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 91% of people never go past page 1 of Google. And the cool thing is you can literally start showing up on page 1 right away if you run Google Ads. And here's the best part. You can definitely go pay for Google Ads yourself if you want to, but Google has a program. It's called the Google Grant, where they will actually give churches and nonprofits $10,000 a month in free Google ads as long as you're a 501c3. Now, when I first heard about this program, I actually didn't believe it. I'm like, who gives away $10,000 of free anything? Right? So I went out there, I applied for it, I got it for my church, and sure enough, oh my gosh, it was literally $10,000 in free Google ads. And I just started running Google ads and we started showing up on page 1, right? And now every time people went out and they were looking for a church in our area, boom, they found our church website on page 1, inviting them out to church. Next up is a follow-up system. Now, I recommend using some type of automated software in order to do this. Text in Church is my favorite way to do it. I know there's some other software out there that'll do it as well. The most important thing is you want it to be automated, and you want it to be at least 6 to 12 weeks, right? The reason is because the average person goes to church 1.2 times per month, right? So even if you have a visitor who comes in one Sunday, right, we got to get them to come back again. The average churchgoer only goes to church 1.2 times. That means they're probably not going to be back for a few more weeks. But if you have a follow-up system, right, that's staying in touch with them and just inviting them back over and over and over, right, now there's a really good chance we can get them back in the door. And the reason it makes sense to make it automated and to use software for this is you are getting more and more visitors. There's no way that you can remember where everybody's at in the process and how long and exactly what Sunday they visited. So it's best to be able to just plug them into a system the day after they came to church, and then boom, that system will just continue to follow up with them right over the next couple of months. Automated, super simple. I'm a huge fan of follow-up systems. Now, before I get to the rest of the strategies on this list, what you know, I actually took all of these strategies and a bunch more that we didn't have time to cover in this video, and I put them into a downloadable PDF. It's called 101 Church Growth Ideas You Probably Never Thought Of, and you can actually download it for free. Just go to churchfuel.com/101ideas, and you can actually download that for free, use it for your church, and take advantage of all the different ideas that are on there that make sense for you. Next up are Facebook ads. And there's actually 3 different types of Facebook ads that I recommend running for your church plant. Now, the first one is called prayer ads. If you've been watching this channel for any amount of time, you've probably heard me talk about this tons of times. And we've got a bunch of videos that cover this on this channel, so I'm not going to go in depth here. But essentially, you are running a Facebook ad on Facebook and Instagram that just says, how can I pray for you? Right? And then you're going to run people from there into Facebook Messenger, where they can submit a prayer request, and then you can pray for them and even submit an audio prayer so they can hear your voice using their name praying for their situation. This is really, really powerful, and I've actually seen a number of church plants use this to double and even triple their ministry, break through church growth barriers. I saw a church of 15 that grew to 50 in 2 months using prayer ads. I saw a church plant of 60 grow to 110 in 3 months, and saw another church plant that was stuck at 130 go from 130 to 200 over the summer and break the 200 barrier in only 90 days, all because of the power of prayer ads. Next up are Facebook invite ads. This is really simple. You're just going to run an ad out to everyone who lives within driving distance of your church, typically 10 to 15 miles, depending on where you live, right? Just inviting people to church this Sunday. So this is the type of ad that can just run for weeks or even months at a time, right? Because you're always just saying, hey, come on out to church this Sunday. I want to meet you, right? You're always inviting people to church this Sunday, right? So you can just run it forever. These are really, really powerful, especially if you send them from the Facebook ad to a landing page on your website, something like a plan your visit page where people have the opportunity to actually sign up and schedule an appointment to visit your church. That way you could have a friendly face waiting for them at the front door who can kind of show them around, introduce them to some key volunteers and families, help them get their kids checked into kids church, get them a free cup of coffee, right? Show them where the bathrooms are, all that kind of stuff, and make sure to save them a seat in service and sit with them in service, right? It's kind of like having a best friend waiting for you at the front door. This is really, really powerful. When I first started using Plan Your Visit at my church, we actually increased our first-time visitors year over year in the first month by 42%, in the second month by 60%, in the third month by 87%, and in the fourth month by 113%. Right? So literally just blew the doors off of our attendance records, all because we were just offering people a simple way to visit church that helps lower the barrier of entry for new people, specifically unchurched people. And the third type of Facebook ads is what I call an event ad. Right? This is just every time you're doing something like a back to school bash or a Christmas Eve service or a trunk or treat or a fall festival or a family fun night or an Easter service, right? All you want to do is run a simple ad on Facebook, inviting people out to your event. And then I like to tie that to a landing page on the website that just talks about the event itself. Next up is a welcome party, right? And here's what I've learned. One of the most important things you can do for your new people is to send them to a next step. Now, some churches will do like a membership class or a next steps class or a growth track, right? And all those are fine, but here's the deal. Nobody wants to go to class, but everyone wants to go to a party. Right? So I found that just by changing the name to a welcome party, right, instead of a membership class, so many more people actually want to go, right? So, and the key here is actually make it a party, right? Make sure that you as the pastor show up, make sure you have some key staff and leaders in there, right? But have some music bumping, right? Like have some free food and some free drinks, right? Maybe even childcare if you have a lot of young families coming, but make this a party, make it really, really fun. And then just make sure that you have a specific call to action. Typically that call to action is either to join a volunteer team or a small group, right? This is the best way to funnel all of your visitors into one place, right? One next step, which is come to the welcome party. And then in the welcome party, you want to get them to actually sign up for either a small group or a volunteer team, right? So now they're actually getting plugged in, and this is going to help with your assimilation, getting people to join the church, and then getting them onto a volunteer team where they can serve every week, or getting them into a small group where they can actually start doing biblical community, get plugged in, and become part of the core. Now, this is part of a strategy that I call marketing plus 4 weeks. I actually learned about this from Scott, the CEO over at outreach.com. And he told me that 90% of people who are plugged into a small group or a volunteer team will actually join the church and stay for a long time, right? But you only have 4 weeks to get them plugged in. Now, a lot of churches want people to kind of start attending and be around for a while before they invite them out to, next steps or welcome party or something like that. But once you realize that statistic, right, 90% of people who are plugged into a small group or volunteer team will actually get plugged into the church and will stick around, but you only have 4 weeks to get them plugged in. That changes things, right? So what I recommend is actually from the very first time that they show up, you start inviting them out to a welcome party, right? So they're hearing it the first time, the second time, the third time they visit. Let's get them in there as quickly as possible because we need to get them plugged in because you only got 4 weeks, right? So we call this marketing plus 4 weeks, just the idea of concentrating on all the marketing, the invites, right? Like the ministry to get them into the church, right? And then what do the 4 weeks look like that after they show up, right? You've got a follow-up system, you've got the Monday morning selfie video, and you've got the welcome party, all of which are designed to get them plugged into a small group or a volunteer team so they can stick around at the church. Now, my friend, Pastor Chris Dukas, started doing this at his church, and he said that once he started using the Monday morning selfie video, it actually doubled the amount of second-time visitors that he had simply because of that video, right? And this idea of marketing plus 4 weeks and actually focusing on the follow-up after you get the new guests in completely changed the way that he did ministry. He said he used to wait 90 days before inviting new visitors out to a membership class, but now he does a new member class every 45 days, and he pushes every single visitor to that new member class. And the great thing is his church of 200 people has actually had over 100 new families join the church using this strategy. If you want to go a little bit deeper on some of the strategies in this video, make sure to check out my video, How to Grow Your Church Congregation. And don't forget that you can download the free PDF, 101 church growth ideas you've probably never thought of. Just go to churchfuel.com/101 ideas. Man, I'm praying for you guys. Thanks so much for watching the channel. Man, let's go reach some people, make heaven crowded. We'll see you soon.